All right, so I guess in closing, I want to say a number of things. Jarek, he's kind of like that other guy on YouTube, Examine Life of Gaming. Basically, uh, I guess you could say Halo's good, this game's not. Because he made a few comparisons to Halo. He wasn't saying Halo was better than this game, although I'm pretty sure he believes Halo is. But it was in reference to the co-op. He was like, Halo nailed the co-op. Why can't this game? And that was really the only Halo reference. But yeah, he's someone who he plays a lot of shooters, but he doesn't know how to play shooters. I know it makes no sense, but that's see that's kind of the good thing with the shooter genre. It's like how the RPG genre is now. See, back in the old days, you couldn't fake it till you make it with RPGs. Like you had to kind of know what you're doing. Like back on the PS1 days and before, you couldn't like you had to really know what you were doing. You couldn't just play it and play it and play it and then beat it. Sometimes with certain ones, but not really. But nowadays, everything's an RPG. Halo's an RPG in multiplayer mode. You level up and you kind of fake it till you make it, But with shooters are the kind of game. There's probably more shooters than anything else, aside from like family games and just whatever games. There's tons of shooters, and it's a genre where you can just fake it till you make it. Just play a bunch of shooters and never ever really encounter something too hard. Well, I guess back in the old days, you couldn't do that either with like Wolfenstein or Doom or anything like that. So he plays a lot of shooters. He just doesn't play a lot of shooters that force him to play. I guess I don't know. He said he likes a challenge. I don't think he does. I mean, not when you. I mean, when you're playing a game and you're not crouching and you're not really like using all the angles you can, because that's all shooters is. It's just angles. It's just angles. Like that's all it really is. Usually, you just find the right angle. Just strafe, circle, strafe. Side to side, whatever you got to do. That's all it really is. It's a game of angles. And so when I see him play the game and he's not using like the zoom feature, or he's not like looking down the sights, he's not really crouching, he's just running into places. He's using the freaking um, bullseye weapon as a machine gun, like a standard machine gun. Like he doesn't really play games like that. He even admitted himself that he got into the shooter genre kind of late, or he got into gaming kind of late because he had a life, he had other things to do, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with putting the game down and going outside and living a little bit, doing other things. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with not gaming at all. But with him, it really shows, like especially when you hear him talk about the games he considers good and the games he considers bad. Yeah, it's obvious he got into games late, because he gives an unhealthy amount of praise to Halo. Uh, but this game right here, this game is I don't know what to call it. It's a an odd one. I guess you could say it's an enigma or something. It's like when on the sixth gen when Advance Wars when they made a shooter, and I mean they knocked it out the park. They really did. To go from DS strategy games, to just a third person shooter with heavy tactical elements and just knock it right out of the park. That's probably one of the best squad based games, whatever you want to call it, a squad based tactical third person shooter, whatever, from the sixth gen. I mean, you have other stuff like Full Spectrum Warrior, um, there's quite a few. But the other ones are usually just RTSs, like Army Men RTX or RTS, something like that. A company that does something they've never done before for the first time, and they knock it out of the park. That's how this game is. I mean, Insomniac, they've done shooters. Like, I love the Ratchet and Clank games. Those games are hard as, not really hard, but they can be pretty frustrating sometimes and pretty challenging. But I love them. And to go from here, to go from that to this first person shooting, kind of serious. It's almost the total opposite of Ratchet and Clank. To go from that to this and get it right, because they've knocked it out the park. They really have. I know it may not seem like that, but they have. They've knocked it out the park. This is probably better. They did a better job with this, in my opinion, than Intelligent Designs or whatever. That's the name of the company that makes Advanced Wars and Battalion Wars. They did a better job with this than Advanced Wars did with Battalion Wars. And they didn't do a bad job. Battalion Wars is not a bad game. It's just not everybody can pick up that game and actually beat it and actually make a lot of progress. Especially not kids. And when you look at it, it looks like a game for kids. Oh, look at the chibi characters. Look how short they are. It looks like a child's game. Like a lot like it would appeal to children. And it probably does appeal to children. But I don't see a lot of kids beating that game. You got to be like a really, you got to kind of know what you're doing. It's not a hard game, but you got to kind of pay attention. This right here is more accessible because when it comes to shooters, when it comes to regular first-person shooters, it's only really one thing. You're doing one thing. In Battalion Wars, you're doing third-person shooting, driving, placing you guys in certain areas. It's more of a tactical type of game, and there's nothing wrong with that right there. But I think Insomniac did a better job with this shooter than Advanced Wars did with their Battalion Wars. And you have other instances, with certain companies that it's hard to name all of them, where they go from one style of game to another, and they really excel at it. This game is probably the best sci-fi shooter, and it's probably one of my the best first-person shooters I ever played. It's up there with, I'd say it's in my top 10. When it comes to first-person sci-fi shooters, it's my top 10. It's better than Halo. I mean, say what you want. Enemies are bullet sponges. Okay, whatever. If you line a headshot, I mean, if you can line one, you got it. With Halo, not so much. With the short little midget enemies, yeah, okay. But with regular enemies, like, no, you gotta shoot them multiple times. And in this game, you have to do that as well. But like, I don't know, the weapons feel more powerful. The combat feels more impactful, more meaningful. Sometimes even more tactical than Halo. And I know there's a science to Halo or whatever. Where you gotta do certain things and you gotta use certain weapons to, like, to break enemy shields or overload their shields, whatever. Halo sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck. It's not worth all the praise that this game that is received. I make videos bashing Halo all the time, so don't mind me. He said, Jarek the Gaming Dragon said that this game doesn't deserve all the high scores. He doesn't understand it. Again, of course you wouldn't understand it when you play shooters and you don't bother to crouch. Isn't that like basic? Like, I mean, I guess you could say it doesn't matter, but every now and then the game will tell you crouch to make yourself a smaller target or to make yourself hard to hit, right? Not all games, but a few games will tell you that right there. Crouch to make yourself a small target. And if that applies to one shooter, that applies to a lot of other shooters as well, especially if it's first person shooters. Unless you're playing a game where the AI's bullets are magnetically attracted to your body and you're gonna die no matter what. No, that certain principles and FPS games apply all over the place, like strafing. Fallout 3 is an RPG, right? But strafing is just as important in Fallout 3 as it is in damn what Serious Sam or Duke Nukem or this game right here. You know, although you can't crouch in Serious Sam. I don't think. So he's wrong with that when he says this game doesn't deserve all the praise it gets, all the high scores it gets. How? This is a first-person shooter, no cover system. You have to crouch. You got to crouch, and people don't get like the crouch is so underappreciated. People think, oh, it needs a cover system, it needs a cover system, it needs a cover system, especially now and towards the end and middle of the sixth generation. People are saying games need cover systems, even first-person shooters. First-person shooters don't need cover systems. That's what strafing's for. You don't need a cover system in a first-person shooter. That's stupid. But so this game comes out, no cover system. You have to strafe and crouch, make your own cover. Right? You have to dodge enemy bullets. All this stuff, and it still gets high scores. How's it not worth the high scores that it received when it doesn't even have a lot of modern gimmicks or mechanics that a lot of games that came out during this time had? And it doesn't have a lot of those things, and it's still got a decent scores. How does it not deserve it when it's lacking a lot of features that a lot of games that came out around the same time as this game didn't have? That's just so he just plays shooters. He doesn't know how to play them. I know that makes no sense, but yeah, and he's. I really wish there was a code where I could skip a level and maybe go select the 11th level or the 10th level or something like that. Because he mentioned Jarek the Gaming Dragon at least 10 times. Like, dude, they're shooting through walls. What am I supposed to do? They're shooting through walls. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? This game's garbage. F it. You guys saw me play. You don't have. You probably didn't see it. You don't have to watch all these videos if you want to. It's only 3. I know I'm still early in the game, but when did I get shot through? When was I being shot through a wall? And again, I'm only 3 levels in, but what you're seeing in those last 3 levels, that's pretty much the rest of the game. Yeah, you're gonna get other weapons that make the game easier. You're gonna get a weapon. You're gonna get a weapon eventually that lets you shoot through walls. And by the time, you'll probably run into enemies that have it before you have it. But again, enemies don't shoot through walls. Certain enemies in the game shoot through walls, but judging by the amount of times that Jarek the Gaming Dragon has complained about it, you think that it was a constant thing. You think that it was something that happened. It was pretty common that it happened in almost every level or from the start. That's a lie. And I don't know how it's a complaint when you can do the same thing. When they start using that weapon that lets them shoot through walls, it isn't too much longer after that you get a weapon that lets you do something similar. I think you get that weapon. I'm not quite sure. You get a lot of unique weapons in the game. Now I know in Part 2, Resistance Part 2, and I believe Part 3, you definitely get a weapon that shoots through walls. It has a secondary fire to where it shows you it highlights the enemies through the walls, like the little heat signature, their heat signatures or whatever, and you can just aim and shoot. But yeah, he got into games late. It tells by some of the asinine, ridiculous stuff that comes out of his mouth. And we shoot through walls. There's no. Uh, I don't think he mentioned that it was no cover system. He didn't complain about that, but he did say something about how you don't really have a way to defend yourself or adequately defend yourself. Uh, I guess he's never played a Twitch shooter before. This is a Twitch shooter. This is Twitch shooter, Twitch shooter, whatever. But this isn't that kind of game. You use crouch. Crouching and strafing, you get so much more freedom than if you just taking cover. And if you have, you know, compared to games where you have to like go to a wall and press cover. Now I do like games to give you the option to take cover, like they have a cover system, but also have a crouch system. I don't mind when the cover system is optional because then it's complementing the gameplay. It's complementing all the other mechanics that are already there. Whereas if there's no crouch system, or whereas if you can only get a decent shot if you're behind cover and you're aiming or whatever, that's something else right there. So there's a lot of other things I wanted to say, but I can't think of them. But the combat feels so, I don't know, serious or impactful. The guns have like a certain punch to them. They're like games like Halo just doesn't have. And it's nice to play a sci-fi game where you're fighting sci-fi enemies. I mean, the enemies feel vulnerable. They feel just as vulnerable as human enemies. Yeah, they take a lot of shots to bring down. But like I said, if you can aim at their head, it takes less shots to get them down. They're probably stronger than humans, so they probably take. Yeah, probably. So they probably take a little more damage, even when it comes to headshots. But that's one thing I liked about it. The combat felt impactful, like, and I don't know. And the enemies, they don't often come to you. You like they use cover. You have to like sort of go to them or attack them where they are. They don't just run right to you. Sometimes they do, but most times they don't. And that's one thing I like about the game. Like level after level, it's just shooting. There's no gimmicks. It's not like freaking Halo, where you play the entire level with first-person shooter. The very final boss or the very final level is a driving mission with those twisted and busted freaking driving controls, and you're being timed. Now this game does have a pretty annoying boss battle at the end, but that's to be expected. And of course, as you progress more and more in the game, it gets more challenging. But it's not BS all the way through, like Jarek, the gaming dragon, said that it was. Oh boy. But I guess he loves. I guess he loves punishing himself because he reviewed all three games, and I've watched his review of those games a number of times, and I'm gonna watch them again because I may want to make another video to this. Let's see here, just making sure. He's reviewed all of them. Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita. Resistance Retribution for the PSP. Resistance 3, Resistance 2, Resistance 1. So at least he's dedicated to the genre of first person shooter games, even if like 75% of the time, or maybe 85 to 90% of the time, he has no idea what he's talking about. Now, when it comes to technical stuff, like he knows all that stuff, like computers and when it comes to running games on computers, he knows all that stuff. Like he spends a good portion of his video in the beginning talking about that stuff. Oh, the specs were this, or I managed to get it running on a 1080 or whatever. He knows that stuff. He's a real tech guy. He's probably like an ex Geek Squad uh, uh, employee or something. He knows that stuff. When it comes to just like shooters, like the mechanics and just certain things about shooters, he's clueless. He has no idea what he's talking about whatsoever, and it's extremely obvious. I only watch him because he reviews a lot of shooters from the generation that I like, the seventh and the sixth. So, and a lot of times he is fair, but most times he's not. uh, what else is there? I really need to start writing my ideas down. But yeah, this game isn't as bad as he would make you think. So whenever you see a review from him, take what he's saying with a grain of salt, because he has no idea what he's talking about. And me and him, I've been leaving quite a few messages on this channel lately. Not harassing him or nothing like that. Just commenting on certain things he says about games. Like my last message to him was about Cold Winter, and it wasn't a criticism at all. He actually liked that game, and I just chimed in and said a few things about whatever, a few mechanics the game had. And before that, I said I responded once to his review of Geist. He responded back, and I responded. So I haven't been messaging him that much, but about 3 messages this week, or three, not messages, but just 3 comments on his reviews. So I think I'm gonna post. I'm gonna post the first video because I've already beat this game on my channel. I thought I took the review down already, or the Let's Play, because I no longer Let's Play shooters, so I figured I just deleted all my shooter playlist, all my shooter Let's Play playlist, and just eventually put some adventure games or something there, some type of adventure game Let's Play or whatever. But I want to find that video or that playlist. I know where it's at, and I'll post the first video to his channel and say, see, you don't have to play it in co-op to beat it. Because I think he thinks that he knows more than the average person or whatever, because he's decided to make, I don't know, game reviewing or whatever his hobby, and he likes to beg for money on the internet because it costs money to because it costs money, or you're supporting his channel by whatever. Like, shut up. I'm not helping you buy games. Get a job and help yourself buy games. But I think that's what he does all the time. Who knows? Maybe this is just a hobby for him or something. But I'm gonna check out his Twitch. He does a lot of stuff on Twitch. He actually played this game. I would love to see the comments from him, because he played this game. I think he played the whole game on Twitch, and he does that a lot. Like he'll play the game all the way through on Twitch or whatever, or halfway through or whatever, and then he'll review it. I don't know his exact process, but I know a lot of games he reviews on his channel on YouTube. Usually, sometimes, a lot of the time, half the time, whatever, he'll play it on Twitch, either the full game or a good portion of it. So I would love to see those comments. Hang on a second. Yeah, he does. I can't even talk straight. I don't know what he does. I think this is his thing, his full-time thing now. Just you know, getting money from Twitch and YouTube and wherever else you can get money from for playing games, and maybe he does something with computers. But he definitely asks for money on YouTube. He doesn't ask. He'll say, "Oh, if you sign up for my Patreon, or if you sign up for whatever, you get early access," which is asking. You just dressing it up some. So yeah, I hate when they say that right there. Like, without your support, I can no longer do this. Without my support, you can no longer play games and record them. What? What are you talking about? Without people giving you money, you can no longer play games. Hmm. Okay. I've never monetized my videos. I monetize certain ones, but not to get money. But um, it's my understanding. I think that if you monetize a video, then that'll make it like kind of easier to find sometimes. So usually when I'm ranting about stuff, I'll monetize those. But I never monetize my Let's Plays, which is my bread and butter for my channel. My Let's Plays, I never monetize those, and I never monetize like an unboxing video or a video like this. Well, I may monetize this because I want people to maybe hear my opinion or something like that. And if you don't want to hear it, that's fine as well. And I can't think of nothing else to say. I'll find some stuff. But yeah, that's about it. Take whatever he says with a grain of salt, and just realize like he doesn't really know what he's talking about. He spends way too much time talking about the technical stuff and how long it took him or what it took him to get the game running than he spends actually talking about you know um, the stuff that matters, the stuff that really matters in the game. I mean, he can basically be I can't even talk. He can basically be he can basically be summed up in just a sentence. Halo good, everything else bad. Resistance bad, Halo good. Oh my goodness. Um, that's about it, you guys. Take care and be safe. I'm on a break from Let's Playing. I will be back to Let's Playing, I think, next year. I want to take some time this year to just play some games. But yeah, take care, be safe. I love you guys. Just kidding. I don't love you guys. I hate you guys. I hate you guys. Just kidding. Uh, never, never told my audience I love them before. I don't. But I do care about people though. Um, I love Let's Play. I love pizza. But uh, love you guys. Take care. Be safe. Stay safe. Watch out for that. Well, I guess uh, the big C is kind of over with now. Yeah, just be safe, you guys. Keep on gaming, whatever it is you do, and I'll see you guys for my next Let's Play, which I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I will be back.